So when you interact with people who are suffering from one or the other type of dependence, what is the, like, let's say there are 3 crore people consuming cannabis, there's 15 crores consuming alcohol, and there are some other statistic consuming opiates or opioid substances. What is the highest rate of dependence that you interact with at the center? Or
Yeah, that's what I was telling you about. That meeting the criteria for dependence is one thing, but being affected by it to that serious level or extent that you need help,
Right.
you must go to a doctor and seek help. That brings another dimension of severity.
okay,
And in terms of help seeking or in terms of overall problems because of your drug
Yeah.
addiction, opioids are the number one category
okay,
anywhere in the world. If you look at the World Drug Report also,
yeah,
they'll tell you that even if globally more number of people are using cannabis,
right,
the problem drug users are maximum from the opioid group.
oh,
So and if we compare the global data with the Indian data,
right,
our statistics for consumption of cannabis, bhang, charas and ganja
Right.
are much less than the global average.
okay,
And when we taught actually the world what cannabis is,
Right.
but our
We don't really
consumption
consume
statistics are which, I mean, we don't really consume it, or
Yeah.
we don't really tell about it. We
Yeah.
don't really know about it. That's
Yeah.
a different issue.
Mhm.
But our consumption statistics for opioids are 3 times that of global average.
okay,
Right. So that's the heroin epidemic I was talking to you about.
okay,
Globally, it's a 0.7% of the
Right.
general population, which
Right.
is the current user of opioids.
Mhm.
In India, it's 2.1%, exactly
Okay.
about 3 times.
yeah,
So, and that's all. And partly that is because some years back, 1980s, when I was talking about, we made both
Mhm.
charas ganja and heroin. We brought both of them in the same category,
yes,
right?
Mhm.
So when both of them were banned, both of them were illegal.
right,
When trafficking in both of them could put you in jail for 10 years, but the profit
right,
margin, the difference was more than 30-40 times.
for opiates,
So there was an incentive for the market,
right,
illicit drug market, to shift from charas ganja to heroin.
right, right, right,
So most of our patient population, when we interact with them, they tell us that we used to consume charas and ganja, and then someone came and introduced us to heroin, telling that try this,
Right.
this is better stuff, you will get a better kick or high.
right,
Initially, I was given it for free of cost. I tried it for a few days, then I got hooked onto it,
Right.
and then gradually the decline started
right.
occurring.
This is a very interesting point that you've raised, because a lot of countries who have actually done something about addressing the dependence crisis or drug dependence crisis in the countries, a lot of them have adopted the approach of decriminalizing or legalizing the use of cannabis. Some countries have gone as far as decriminalizing all types of drugs. So when we study those approaches, do you think India has some lessons that we can learn, like in terms of how we approach drugs and laws about drugs, and not just blanket banning all drugs?
So yes, absolutely right. So basically, the framework or the perspective that not all psychoactive substances are equal.
Right.
There is different degrees of harms, and hence there should be different stringency in
Right.
terms of regulating them.
Right.
That concept already exists in India. For instance, tea or coffee, they are also psychoactive substances,
Exactly.
not regulated at all.
Yeah.
Alcohol, psychoactive substance, but regulated to a large extent.
Right.
Even in the states where it is legal,
Right.
only licensed shops can sell, and many other laws and regulations. Some other substances totally banned or illegal. So time has come now, even among those substances which we say are totally banned or illegal, there has to be a graded kind of approach, calibrated approach,
Okay.
so that our supply control strategies, they are calibrated according to the level of harm those drugs or substances can cause.
Okay.
So that's something which we must, as a principle, we need to adopt this.
Right.
Then we can go into nitty-gritties of how to and to how much to control and to what level.
Okay.
What you are saying is absolutely right. That most countries of the world, they realized, for instance, the countries or the states in US
Right.
where you are saying that they have legalized
Yeah.
marijuana,
Right.
what they found was that the trade continues to take place in
Yeah.
cannabis. We spend a lot of money in trying to control this trade,
Yes.
in law enforcement,
Right,
our
right.
police, our criminal
Yes.
justice system, our jails.
Right.
All of us are wasting money and resources and time in
Right.
trying to catch this.
Right.
But this keeps still ongoing.
Right.
And on top of it, we are spending money, and all the profits are being controlled by the mafia.
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So in other words, the government actually thought कि हम तो बुद्धू बन रहे हैं, right?
Yeah. Tax भी नहीं दे रहा कोई उसपे.
कुछ टैक्स भी नहीं दे रहा है. So that's how they realized that there is no point in trying to continue playing this चूहा बिल्ली का game
Yeah.
with the drug traffickers. Let us regulate this.
Right.
We will allow this, but with strict regulations, because they also knew. It's not like that just because something becomes illegal, it will everyone
Yeah.
will start consuming it.
Yeah.
Alcohol is a prime example for us.
Right. Right.
It's a legal substance.
Yeah.
People complain कि कितना आराम से मिलता है और खुल के मिल रहा है और सब कुछ, but still only 15% of Indians are consuming
Exactly.
alcohol.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
So it's not like everyone's rushing
It's
to
not
consume
everyone
alcohol.
is rushing to. It's not. I mean, it's a. So that's what legalization entails. Then there is next level of reform,
Right.
slightly less liberal than legalization, which is decriminalization.
Right.
Decriminalization simply means the product remains illegal, product remains banned, trade and trafficking in that product remains banned. But if you are caught with a small amount for your own personal consumption,
Right.
you will not be treated as a criminal.
Right.
So user will not be treated as a criminal, a trafficker will be.
Okay.
The user will still be helped. User will be in an institutional framework. User will be sent to us for counseling,
Right.
for treatment,
Seeking help.
for
Yeah.
some other kind of center in a formal, systematic
Right.
manner,
Right.
and will be helped to come out of that issue,
Right.
rather than burdening the criminal justice system with that
Right,
person.
right.
That's what decriminalization basically means. So at least, if not legalization, at least decriminalization is something India should seriously consider.
Okay. For all drugs or for some drugs?
At least for some drugs such as cannabis to begin with.
Okay. Right.
So that number one, we will reduce to a large extent the stigma associated with drug use.
Right.
We will reduce the burden on our law enforcement agencies, our police and narcotics control bureau of catching this
Right.
small time users.
Yes. Yes.
If you look at the National Crime Record Bureau data for last year, about 60% cases booked for NDPS are those of small quantity.
Okay.
Which means they are effectively
Right.
people who use drugs are being caught and put in jail.
With
The energy and efforts
Yeah.
which can go definitely into catching the big traffickers. Now I have no doubt about the expertise
Right.
of our drug law enforcement agencies. They are very fine agencies. They are actually known world over for
Right.
the fine work they
Right.
have been doing and they are capable of doing. But if the system is such that they are spread thin all over,
Yeah.
if their all efforts are diluted in
Right,
catching
right.
even the little kind of drug issues,
Yeah.
then the concentrated manner in which they need to make a dent
Right.
in the overall drug scene,
Yeah.
that will not take place.
Okay.
And that's what I pointed out about heroin. So
Right.
even with all efforts, just 5% of heroin being
Yes.
trafficked in India
Yes.
is being.
Whereas that is the bigger problem than
That is the
cannabis.
far
Yes,
bigger
yes,
problem.
yes.